I believe as the ultimate truth all this that you say to me, O Keshava, Krsna, neither the gods nor the demons, O Lord, know your manifestation. Arjuna holds as true what the rishis are saying about the Lord and what the Lord is saying about himself. Rutam means satyam, true. The Lord is unmanifested at the root, but when God is manifested, then neither the gods nor the demons know the Lord's manifestation. Arjuna says, Rutam manya, and we should think about this. Manya means to believe. He does not know it. This can be one meaning of it. Arjuna is saying that the Lord is saying it, and therefore it must be that, it must be like that. This is more necessary from the perspective of devotion. From the perspective of knowledge, Arjuna is still incomplete. That is why Arjuna says that he believes it is not yet his experience. We sometimes say that you are saying it, and so I will believe what you say. There is a difference between this and saying, I know what you say. On the one hand, you have, I believe what you say, and on the other hand, you have, I know what you say. Here, Arjuna is saying, Lord, I believe what you are saying. There may not be a complete understanding here from the perspective of knowledge, but from the perspective of devotion, there Arjuna feels it more because at the foundation of devotion is faith. Here, Arjuna is characterizing his faith. Arjuna is saying to Sri Krishna that, Lord, what you are saying is true. Arjuna has also used the word Rutam. Rutam means the ultimate truth. Rutam is a word from the Vedas for the truth. Ekam Ruta. The goal of the Vedas is the truth. Sarvam etad Rutam manya. This is the ultimate truth. Arjuna is saying that, Lord, when you said in the first verse of the 10th chapter that Shamume Paramam Vadaha, listen to my supreme word, I now have complete faith in your word, Lord. But why? Arjuna is slowly and slowly marching towards devotion. Arjuna had complete faith in what the Lord is saying. That is why Arjuna addresses Sri Krishna as Keshava in this verse. It is worth understanding this name of the Lord. The letter K represents Brahmaji. The letter A represents Narayan. When K and A come together, then they make the full letter in Sanskrit, Ga. Then Esha is the name for Shivji, and the letter Va is expressive of the body and the form. Therefore, K is Brahmaji, A is Narayan, Esha is Shivji, and Va is Keshava. And Va is expressive of the body and the form. Therefore, Keshava is the name and form of Brahmaji, Narayan, and Shivji. That is why Arjuna addresses Sri Krishna as Keshava. I often say that the following verse is chanted at the end of every worshipping ceremony. Akashat patitam toyam yatha gachati sagaram sarvadeva namaskaram keshavam prati gachati. All water that falls from the sky always eventually goes to the sea, wherever it falls, and in whatever form it falls. In the same way, if you worship and bow down to any god, form or idol, ultimately you are worshipping and bowing down to Keshava, the energy of Brahman, not Brahma, from whom all three of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh are divided in their work. This form of Keshava, Arjuna addresses, this form is Keshava. Arjuna addresses Sri Krishna as Keshava in this verse. The implication of this is, Lord, you create, maintain and dissolve this material world, and I believe this, and what you say is the ultimate truth. This sentence of Arjuna is very valuable for us. Arjuna is saying, Lord, I believe what you are saying as the ultimate truth. And this means that Arjuna is giving up a lot of his presumptions and perceptions, and each and every person is thinking in his or her own ways. That is why conflicts arise. But when does devotion begin? When do these conflicts go away? When one person out of the two says, I believe what you are saying as the ultimate truth. When this state comes, then the conflicts are healed. When you look at it from this perspective, then these words of Arjuna here are very important, and they're worth learning by all of us. I'd even go further so as to say that when a person is wrong, and you tell him that what you're doing is right and go ahead and do it, then after he goes and does it and has his experience, then he will hold his ears in apology to you. If you try to explain to the person that he is wrong, and keep complaining that he is not understanding, he's not understanding, rather than continue to argue, just say, fine, go ahead, do what you want, okay? Because it is a wrong thing, the wrong consequences are going to come. The consequences will come, and when he understands, then he will come back holding his ears in apology, saying, you told it to me, but I did not believe you. I made a mistake. This is if you have not made the person an enemy. Arjuna believes what the Lord is saying as the ultimate truth. It is a characteristic of a dharmic person or straightforward person like Arjuna that they accept their limits. When we hear Sri Krishna's words such as Ada, imperishable, Avyayatma, the imperishable being, then it may take some time to understand them. But at least if we understand Arjuna's words and accept Arjuna's straightforwardness, then it can lead to a big reformation for us. Arjuna says that, Lord, what you are saying is the ultimate truth. Before we go on to the next verse and explain its meaning, I will say one thing. There are two types of shastras, scriptures. The first are Asti Pradhan Shastra, and the second is Astu Pradhan Shastra. Asti Pradhan Shastra are factual scriptures. They say that it is like this, or take it or leave it, but do not argue on it. The reason for this is that if you take it, then it is to your advantage, and if you leave it, then it is your loss. After arguing, you will only reach where it says it in the scriptures. It is better just to accept it. In the last verse, for example, Arjuna said that he believes what Sri Krishna is saying as the ultimate truth. Arjuna said that he believes what Sri Krishna is saying is the ultimate truth. The matter, though, is finished there. This is because after talking for 24 hours a day, we will reach the exact same place. For example, there is science, and in particular physics. Physics is mostly a Asti Pradhan Shastra, a factual science. It is factual. The rule of gravity is Asti Pradhan, a fact. If something falls from above, then it will only fall downwards. The air pulls it towards the earth. This is Asti Pradhan. If somebody says that they are not prepared to believe it, then we can just tell them to leave it, as this will save both his and our time, so that we can both move forward. But if the other person is not prepared to believe it, then fine, you may argue for the first hour or for 5 hours. You argue about how an apple falls in this way and that way, then the other person will still say that he is not prepared to believe it. At the end, you will tell the person to go stand on a tree and take a jump. He will fall down, break his bones, and then accept that it is gravity. You cannot change it. What we believe and our opinions have no place. There are so many ultimate realities in this world, and they are called Asti Pradhan Shastra, factual scriptures. The 10th chapter of Gita is a Asti Pradhan Shastra. Most of the other chapters are Astu Pradhan Shastra, scriptures about how it should be. This is where our perceptions and our perspectives get some importance. Art is a Astu Pradhan Shastra. For example, there is a horse. You can draw a horse in so many different ways on a canvas. You can draw it in infinite ways. You can draw it in an existential way, i.e. the way it is. This is a classic conventional way of drawing it. The horse has 4 feet and it has a tail. This would be a realistic drawing. But you can also draw the horse in a slightly abstract way. This is where the drawing looks as if it may be a horse. It may not be realistic, but it looks something like a horse. The third way of drawing a horse is in a completely absurd way. In this way, you can only tell that it is a drawing of a horse by looking at the description in the wording written underneath the horse. Otherwise, you would not know it is a horse. You would have to look at where the horse is. I once saw a cartoon like this. There's a drawing of a horse's stable, a nail, grass, a bucket of water nearby, and everything else that related to the horse that was drawn in this picture, including the reins lying on the side. But it did not look as if there was a horse in this picture. But it was written underneath the picture, the horse. I asked the person that I could see that there was a stable, a nail, grass, a bucket of water, the reins of a horse, a whip, the dressing to put around the eyes of the horse, and everything else, but I could not see this horse. The person said, but this is the beauty of this picture. He said, when you see all of this, then you feel like asking whether there is a horse or there isn't. This feeling arises in your mind is the aim of this picture. Now create a horse in your mind. Wonder whether the horse must be where the horse must be when all of this fits together. This is abstract art, and it is a form of art. There can be a picture like this. There may not be a picture like this, but yet it is accepted. The drawings sell, and they sell thousands of rupees. This is Astu Pradhan, how it should be. There can be many types of Astu Pradhan Shastra, such as art, singing, etc. Even politics is a Astu Pradhan Shastra. One king rules his kingdom in one way, and another king rules his kingdom in another way. There is no rule that you must govern the kingdom in a certain way. Each and every person has their own roots. How you arrange furniture in your house is an art. There is no rule that you should arrange furniture in a certain way. There is no rule that you should only put chairs in a certain place. There are many ways of arranging furniture. You can also use many different types of colours of furniture. What I mean to say is that this 10th chapter of the Gita is Asti Pradhan. It's factual. If I were to say it in simple language, then on the majority of occasions, it seems that Asti Pradhan Shastra are a little dry. Astu Pradhan Shastra, the scriptures about how it should be, have a little bit of interest behind them where something needs to be explained. You have to apply some of your own intellect. This is what they are like. It is not like this in Asti Pradhan Shastra. You have to accept it, and that's all. If I go a little further, then such scriptures add to our understanding and our awareness about our world. We have to understand them. That is why the 10th chapter of the Gita is so important. If I say it in real sense, then the metaphysics is not as much as we saw in the 8th chapter or the 9th chapter, and whatever it is and whatever it says is repetitions. What Arjuna is now saying is the repetition of what Sri Krishna has already said earlier. For example, Aham Aja, the Supreme Soul is invincible. Arjuna says himself what the rishis have already said, that the Lord himself has said already. But this chapter is important because the chapter is the foundation for seeing the form of the world. The Vibhuti Yoga, the yoga of the Lord's divine manifestations, which is the name of this 10th chapter of the Gita, is the foundation for seeing the Lord in the whole of the world. Not only that, but it is also the foundation of the Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion, that comes after it. Seeing the Lord in the world and Bhakti Yoga are standing on the foundations of the 9th and 10th chapters of the Gita. That is why the 10th chapter is important. Arjuna said that the Etad Sarva Rudam Manya, he believes what the Lord is saying is the ultimate truth, and that neither the gods nor the demons know the Lord's manifestation forms. So the question immediately arises of the Lord, how can we know about your manifestations? Arjuna answers this in the next verse.